I think I agree a little with that, in that, how relevant is what I mean. You got 59 people dead, 500 injured in a horrific incident that played out in Las Vegas, Nevada. I think in going backwards, and that's how these things work from an investigative standpoint. You do work backwards. You take the incident and start to work out from it. So to find out this person, their actions, who they associated with, so on and so forth. I think the motive at some point becomes a part of it, but is it the most important thing? I don't know. What was the motive in Orlando, Florida? What was the motive in San Bernardino? And when we learned what it was, really in the end, how relevant was it to the fact that many people were slaughtered that were in a very vulnerable position?
And we immediately hear calls to, obviously, to do something. And the question is what do people really mean? I mean, there's some people that would like to confiscate, or at least attempt to confiscate, I guess, 400 million guns, however many there are. But then there are others that at least talk about this bump stock device, which can turn a semi-automatic into, for all intents and purposes, a fully automatic. And I guess 12 of, there's different reports, but as many as 12 of the 23 guns that the shooter had were basically modified to be fully automatic. I would think that you could just say, let's not have these things anymore, because nobody, we can't have a grenade, can't have a mortar launcher. A machine gun seems like something that, you don't necessarily want in the hands of the public. But I'm looking in the New York Post, and there's a ban it and a should stay legal editorial from both sides. Can an argument be made that we don't ban, that these things should not be banned, Sheriff Clarke?
Well, I think it's worthy of a discussion, but when you look at these incidents and you look at the ones that have happened prior to this, some of those I've already mentioned, when someone has the will, they're going to get around it. And I think that's what happened here. If we just focus on the gun, I think we're going to be missing some other things, because multiple interventions are going to be needed. And what I like to point to is the fact that it's estimated that there are over 200 million gun owners in the United States. And I'm much less than 1% would ever think of taking that instrumentality, and that's all it is, it's a tool, but less than 1% would ever think of taking that and mowing down people, slaughtering them in a mass fashion like we saw, in Orlando and San Bernardino and now in Vegas. And so what we end up doing is we sometimes end up working on the wrong thing, and we'll end up punishing people who had nothing to do with this, number one, and number two, would never dream, even if they had a nightmare, they'd never dream of taking that instrument and using it in this fashion. And our American system of jurisprudence, if you will, or system of justice, has always been predicated on punishing those individuals who violated society's laws, not making hardships and not punishing people who had nothing to do with this.
Well, I hope